Let's visit the magical Croatian island of Korcula. Traveling to Europe across the Adriatic Sea from Italy lies Croatia, with Korcula among the islands off the southern coast, in a region known as Dalmatia. Let's explore this unique island option with its natural beauty and rich history. A can't-miss Croatian gem. We lined up with our fellow passengers to start our journey to Korcula. We took a catamaran ferry from the island of Hvar to Korcula. The journey takes about an hour. You can also take a catamaran from Split or Dubrovnik, which takes about 2.5 hours. We booked using the Ferry Hopper app. Korcula town is known as Mini Dubrovnik because of its intact medieval wall, like its larger, more well-known cousin. We approached the old town, enjoying the view from the Adriatic. The catamaran pulling into port. It docked right outside the city walls. We were joined by some nuns. Croatia is almost 95% Catholic. After leaving our bags at our Airbnb, we headed into town for lunch. We entered the old town through the town gate, which sits at the top of some stairs. This fortified tower is now a bar named Massimo, with seats and tables at the top and an excellent view. Drinks are delivered via a pulley system. There's a walkway atop the fortified walls, with many cafes and restaurants, with a serene environment and excellent views. You can't miss when in Korcula. Charming alleyways are a feature of Korcula, laid out in a wishbone pattern from the central square. The layout is cleverly designed with a slight angle to ward off the winter winds and catch the summer breezes. St. Mark's Cathedral anchors the center of town with its detailed limestone carvings, constructed between the 14th and 16th century by local stonemasons under the direction of Venice. An excellent example of Gothic Renaissance architecture. The 14th century St. Peter's Church is just around the corner. Behind the church is another famous site, the Marco Polo Center, where some claim the famed Italian explorer was born, despite little evidence. He was captured off Korcula in a naval battle after his travels around the world, and while imprisoned told the story of his travels. A nice view awaits at the top of the Marco Polo Center. Korcula was part of the Republic of Venice on and off for over 500 years. St. Mark's is the patron saint of Venice, represented by a winged lion that overlooks St. Mark's Cathedral in Venice. You'll find it everywhere in the Venetian colonies, including Korcula, with varying degrees of artistry and states of preservation. Carved in limestone and holding a Bible. Be on the lookout for this symbol of Venice. Smaller cats are also ubiquitous. Let's head outside the walls, towards our Airbnb, which is on the hill overlooking the city. We walked along the water and checked out the city, with views across the marina. There are also more restaurants and cafes, as well as a beach in that direction. Our Airbnb had friendly hosts and a wonderful view of the old town from the terrace. After checking into our Airbnb, we took a walk along the bay. The stone path curves past the Governor's Tower, standing guard over the harbor. Sleek motor and sailing yachts sway away gently in the breeze in the sparkling Adriatic with its crystal clear waters. Just ahead, a woman sits at her easel, brush in hand, capturing the beauty with her brushstrokes. We grabbed some delicious gelato, perfect for the hot weather, and checked out some more of the city's charm. We stopped by for an early, relaxing dinner at Pizzeria Pafe, with good food and drinks at a reasonable price. We met a couple from Florida that were on one of the smaller cruise ships, which holds about 50. Cruises on ships of many different sizes offer a decent option to Airbnbs as a place to stay and a way to get around the Croatian coast. We walked over to the west side of town to catch the setting sun. If it's not beautiful enough already, the setting sun adds another layer. We caught a little bit of the performance of a traditional Korcula sword dance. We grabbed a nightcap and headed back to our Airbnb. The nighttime view is also stunning. We started the next day with some cappuccino and an excellent breakfast. Then we took the water taxi to another part on the island to spend a day at the beach Leaving from the harbor in the Old Town, we got a good view of the fortified walls and the Old Town from the boat. The water taxi was full but not crowded. A scenic and relaxing trip. First stop was Badija Island, home of a large former monastery with some nice swimmable beaches and some deers roaming around that were incredibly docile. You can jump on and off the water taxi at any of the stops. The next stop was the island of Vernik, a place with a number of vacation homes and a pebbled beach with crystal clear water. We headed out again to the next stop, back on the island of Korcula. We got off at the second Lombarda stop. Here's the water taxi pulling into Lombarda. After exiting the boat in Lombarda, we walked over to Villa Prisna Beach. Starting the walk along the scenic Adriatic, we enjoyed the clear water and beautiful views. Once we headed inland, we crossed the vineyards on the way to the beach. A pleasant walk that took about 15 minutes. We rented an umbrella and some chairs. Villa Prisna is one of the few sand beaches on the island, and it's pretty rare in Croatia in general. There's a beach bar for drinks and food, or you could bring your own. It was a good spot to spend the day. There's several nice restaurant options at Villa Prisna. Moria is a highly rated restaurant with a beautiful setting. Lucica is another good option nearby. After we left the beach, we headed to Papik Winery. This incredibly stunning setting was picturesque as can be, with views across the vineyard to the Adriatic. I'd highly recommend a winery visit on your trip to Korcula. We had an excellent charcuterie plate and a wine tasting for two. We tried the White Gurk wine, which is unique to Korcula and not exported. A great way to spend the afternoon before we headed back. We caught the water taxi again into Lombarda, which runs until 6 p.m. Another option to see the islands is taking a sailboat or a catamaran cruise, or a smaller yacht like the Grace, which sleeps 10. As we return to port in the Old Town, we get another good view of the city walls. We returned to our Airbnb as the sun was starting to set, which provided for some excellent views, with the mountains of the Blizak Peninsula overlooking the city. We loved the bougainvillea, which was everywhere. The sound of church bells adds to the city's charm. We headed back down to dinner on the picturesque spot above the city walls. There are many good restaurants in this area, including 2 Michelin recommended. The end of another beautiful day on the island of Korcula. Some other options for day trips from Korcula include exploring nearby islands and beaches, or venturing to the Pelagic Peninsula for wine tasting at one of the many local wineries, and exploring the walled city of Stan. Popular options include boat tours to Mjet National Park, kayak tours of the Korcula Archipelago, and buggy safaris with wine tasting. Two of the really cool spots we went to were the last 2 islands before we got to Dubrovnik, which is Korcula and Hvar, founded many thousands of years ago by the Greeks, and both of them are wine-growing regions and have a ton of history, as well as just cool places to hang out, great food, beautiful old medieval fortified cities, a lot of culture, a lot of cool beaches. Highly recommended both of those spots. Let's say a final goodbye to Korcula as we headed by ferry to Dubrovnik. Goodbye, Korcula. Come join us for more adventures. Hit that Bob Shop button on the left and join us for more of our travels around the world. Thanks for subscribing.